Cursed by the old gods in Bethany, we are four mortals taking on the impossible task of reviewing all the 1001 pieces of pop culture so we can one day die. This is episode 116.
Nice.
Look at that.
We did it. We continue doing it every time I say we did it, but no, we're just...
No, that's not... Yeah, count our chicken eggs and such. We haven't finished this episode.
Count our chicken eggs?
You
Why
betcha.
do they have to be
Wanna try that one
chicken
again?
eggs?
Because it's the phrase I messed up mid-sentence.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Lee's in the room.
Hi!
Hey!
Whoa, Lee.
I know, I'm already
I haven't seen you in so long.
I know.
Like her face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see her.
She has a nice face.
Pedro forgot to come down.
Meh.
It's okay, Pedro. You're gonna just represent all Chicago. While,
Of course.
By the way, I'm Austin.
Oh, I'm Sara.
I'm Lee.
And I'm Pedro.
And together we are the Immortals. Every week we review one of the 1001 pieces of pop culture, specifically the 1001 movies, albums, food, songs, and TV shows that you must consume before you die. Every week we review a random number and do those corresponding pieces of pop culture. This week we're doing number 741. And for all you playing at home who don't have these lists because we've not released them, it's the following things. The movie is Platoon.
The album is Grant Lee Buffalo's Fuzzy.
Oh, the food is Shanxi aged rice vinegar, which I don't have because I'm fat.
Extra aged. You forgot last
Sorry,
time.
I did forget extra aged. See, I had the aged stuff, but then I just threw it in the trash because it wasn't extra aged.
The song is 1952 Vincent Black Lightning by Richard Thompson.
And the TV show is Time Trumpet. Before we get to that, let's all journey to Vietnam and have just a wonderful time.
We've been kicking other people's asses for so long, I figure it's time we got ours kicked. What happened today is just the beginning. We're gonna lose this war.
If you're gonna get killed in the Nam, it's better to get it in the first few weeks. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm so tired. I think I made a big mistake coming here.
Platoon is a 1986 film written and directed by Oliver Stone. It won Best Picture that year. It follows a platoon in Vietnam and briefly Cambodia as they just continue marching, having ambushes, sleeping barely, and losing their
Committing war
minds.
crimes.
Yeah, war crimes and losing their minds in the process. Starring a whole bunch of people you recognize, including Charlie Sheen, Willem Dafoe, Tom Berenger, Dr. Cox from Scrubs, Johnny Drama from Entourage, and Johnny Depp. And Keith David.
There's lots of people.
Lots and
There
lots
are.
of people.
Forrest Whitaker, dude.
Yeah,
Forrest
Forrest
Whitaker, I
Whitaker.
apologize. And, yes, I mean, it was, about 10 episodes ago, we reviewed Charlie Sheen's dad's, Vietnam
true.
movie with Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
How do you guys think Sheen Jr. did?
I mean, it's no
Not as
apocalypse now.
well.
But I liked it. I thought it was good. I didn't expect to like it because it's just a movie about a bunch of dudes in a war. And there definitely are parts of it that do what I don't like in war movies, which is they descend into not particularly well, filmed. It takes a lot of skill to film a gunfight, and particularly a machine gun fight, in a way that makes it possible for you to have any idea what's going on. And one or two scenes of oh my god, I can't believe how chaotic this is, are fine. Platoon does have way too many of them, I think, where you don't really know what's happening, and you don't, and because of that, you're just I'm just I don't, I'll just wait till this is over, and, jump back on the movie at the end when I figure out who died. But, I was impressed by, the relationships between the characters, and the sort of different ways that the different guys dealt with the very war as hell kind of experiences. I think all of the acting is really, really great. Willem Dafoe is awesome. Charlie Sheen's really good. And I like it.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if the battle scenes were supposed to be monotonous after a point. Like, that's the theme he's going for, like how numbing it could be. But when you have characters kind of go like, oh, this is the one I'm really worried about, or the big
Yeah.
one's coming. I think it was supposed to escalate, and it never did escalate for me.
It was very hard to figure out who, well, and much like all of Vietnam, very hard to figure out who they're fighting and why, which, like, that, I will appreciate thematically, like, once or twice, but not, like, 17 times.
Lee, what did you think of the movie and the action scenes in particular?
They weren't well done. There were numerous times where someone would run into a gunfight and shake their gun like they're firing, but then there were, like, no effects coming out of their gun, and nobody was actually, like, falling down as if they had been shot. So I just think that they could have been choreographed better, especially since we're dealing with Vietnam, like, where all of it is an awful battle, so...
That Willem Dafoe scene, I don't think I saw a single bullet actually hit him,
No.
It's true.
but that he's reacting
He
to.
really,
He acted the shit out.
He acted
Oh
the
my
shit
God.
out of that scene, though.
It is
So
the
good.
iconic image on the cover of every DVD of Platoon of Willem Dafoe having a rough time.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we mentioned how Willem Dafoe is great in this. I do not think Charlie Sheen's great in this.
No, I thought
No.
he was crappy. I don't...
I thought he was fine.
No.
See, like,
I-
I'd rather see his dad. We just saw his dad
Yeah.
doing great. Do it again. Just grab the same guy. It'll be fine.
I just thought that he... a little too fresh, a little too immature, a little too inexperienced.
Because
No,
like,
I thought it played well with his, like, young, inexperienced character. I thought he was fine. I'm not gonna die on this hill. I thought he was fine.
you know who I thought would be much better and would end up being in a different anti-Vietnam Oliver Stone movie? Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Like mid-'80s Tom Cruise.
Well, he's in Born on the 4th of July.
Yeah, I'm saying he's
Which is
in
the next-
another one. Yeah, but like this one, like because at this time he is like Top Gun, like hothead kind of thing.
The song "Take My Breath Away" from Top Gun won Best Song the year Platoon won Best Picture. Fun fact.
Oh.
Sure.
So next time you think about Top Gun, just remember Oscar-winning movie, Top Gun.
Good.
Yeah. I mean, I like Top Gun better than Platoon, so
That
I think
actually
I do too.
I mean, Top Gun's a great movie. I love Top Gun.
and both of them have guys talk about like how they're definitely not going to die in this battle because they have a wife back home.
Yeah, it's a little,
Like, the dialogue seemed like too much, too
It-
often.
Yeah, the dialogue was written by somebody who was so full of himself. Like, I get it.
You're right.
He's a Vietnam veteran. Oliver Stone was actually there, so he does kind of know what the hell he's talking about.
And he's just
Dial it back a little.
Yeah, he's described the movie as semi-autobiographical. Like,
Yeah,
it's a
and
lot of,
perfectly understandable.
He
Those
volunteered and
like those Charlie Sheen narration bits, though. Oh my god!
they're
I
so
felt
bad.
I rolled my eyes
I
right at the
felt
beginning.
like-
I was like, "Oh, we're doing this."
Yeah, I felt like I was in Intro to Creative Writing again. That's what it felt like. It's like, oh, this is a rich white kid who thinks he can write. Got it.
And it's such a weird inconsistency. And like I think a better actor would play up the contradictions of the character because like, you know, he's firing at a guy, shooting at his feet to basically just torture him. And then like once later he's like, I think all my, you know, comrades are really mean and such. I'm like, wait, you that was you shooting at that guy.
There was no, like, real turning
I mean,
point or
he
anything
didn't,
that, like,
he
made...
didn't like murder a woman or like attempt to gang rape anybody though. So like, I mean, there is a scale of.
Did try to kill an officer.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying he's a good dude.
The
I mean, he did kill an officer.
Yeah.
yeah.
Spoilers, guys.
Well, I mean, like when he was complaining about, man, I think we've all like crossed the line. That was
Yeah.
after he tried to beat an officer's head in
Right.
to a post. But the dialogue that actually bugged me the most was there's a couple of black characters, and whenever they spoke,
God.
all they said was just like basically an episode description of like All in the Family. of,
Like,
And
poor
like,
people are worse off than rich people.
it was real.
That's it.
It was real bad. They
No.
got very little to do that was not super stereotypical.
and like, no offense to Forrest Whitaker, he has become a very fantastic actor. He has an issue playing street thug from the hood.
Yeah, he's a very. It doesn't really.
It doesn't work well. Like, it reminded me of his character in Good Morning Vietnam. Like, this
He's
is
great in
this
that.
is like the next scene. He sees Robin Williams off, goes away, okay, and now he goes into the battlefield in Vietnam. That's what happened.
That works. I also have decided that I like the idea of a unified theory of Perry Cox. the
Yes.
doctor from Scrubs.
Yes.
This is part of what made Dr. Cox so angry.
I like that theory.
He's one of my favorite performances, actually.
Yeah.
He plays off like the complete asshole,
Yeah.
but he's the one who, the more things go crazy, the more like empathetic he gets, and he kind of every scene turns down the assholeness and just becomes more horrified with what he sees.
Yeah.
But talking more about so Keith David, always a delight. He's great.
So good.
His last scene is first off so long as he's talking to Charlie Sheen about how like sometimes people do bad things, and then once you find out Keith David's going home, he treats it like Charlie Sheen was his best friend the whole movie.
Yeah.
This is the first time they were talking, right?
Yeah.
They've chatted a couple of times before, but like not to this extent.
But like the guy he talked to like the most, he's been like, "Hey, bye" on the way to the chopper, whereas he
Yeah.
did a 15-part handshake with Charlie Sheen. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
yeah. All the dialogue felt very like awkward and on the nose, and just not very. I mean, realistic is the weird word to use, but like even the profanity, like no one repeated a swear word. It was like always like a new one they were coming up with that were just all ridiculous. And
Well, except for fuck.
They said fuck.
they
a lot.
said a lot, but like every character, it didn't feel like good characterization for me. They just all like were like the one thing. Like Kevin Dillon, he bites a beer can, he's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
That was
That's
him.
him. I mean, it is sort of like you have too many characters to give them more than like one or two personality traits, and so the really impressive performances are the ones who like come out of the woodwork and go for something and it like sticks, which is I think how Perry Cox does it. I don't know that actor's name, and I
John
refuse.
John C. McGinley.
Yeah.
Sure.
But like certain movies can do that well. I mean, we reviewed Alien way back when, and that's a movie that like very subtly like everyone kind of feels like their own character. I think then the sequel Aliens does even better. Where like everyone, you know who they all are. They don't need a sentence to the screen explaining who they are.
That's true.
Whereas this one felt that all the time.
Well, and then the end credits are like 80s style, like not on black. They have like a moving picture of the actor, like,
Yeah.
and with the title card, which felt I was like, yeah,
Only them all just to wink at the camera and smile
Yeah.
like,
Too
we had
many
a good time
style.
today. Yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, I'm not a big Oliver Stone fan in general. Like, I don't like any of his movies. No, wait. That's when I saw JFK. I thought it was amusing, but I didn't think it was like true.
What else has he done?
Scarface.
The big one.
No,
Oh.
wait, is that De Palma? No, that's Stone.
No, that's Stone.
I mixed them up. I mean, he did this,
Sure.
I thought it was
Born on the 4th of July.
which I don't
Uh,
like.
And Heaven and Earth is like the third of his Vietnam
I've
trio.
not seen that one.
De Palma directed
Wall
Scarface.
Street.
Oliver Stone wrote Scarface.
That's what it
That's
is. I always
what it
mix
is.
up who did what.
Wall Street's the another big one.
Wall Street, and he did the terrible sequel Wall Street Plane Never Sleeps.
W and
W-
World Trade Center. That was the early 2000s bad ideas.
Yeah, W is one of the most boring movies you'll ever watch, and World Trade Center is way too cheesy.
Yeah.
Well, just watching Platoon, I would assume that. Like, this
Right.
movie seemed like someone who wanted to make the quintessential war is hell, Vietnam was a terrible idea, everybody came back scarred movie, but Apocalypse Now already existed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So,
and I was reading on, I was reading backstory that he was responding to a movie that was kind of a glorification movie that had come out between the two movies. Now I'm gonna have to remember which one it was, but like, and I can see, what I do like about the movie is it shows a pretty wide range of like soldier experiences. Like I really like the scenes when they're at base camp, like and like the conversations between them, like the fact that it's I think it's pretty clear that it's written by a vet, like somebody who knows like what all the steps of like what you do during a day in the Vietnam War, and like sort of the monotony of it, and like when you get breaks and when you don't. Like I liked that.
I think there's also a really good sense of authenticity with just how the location felt.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you see lots of jungle movies, but this just feels so gross and like never ending, and the bugs and the leeches
And the snakes.
and
There's
the
snakes.
and the rain, and just like there's no way to ever feel comfortable. And it makes it feel like this is the war where just immediately we're out of our depth, elemental-wise.
Mm-hmm.
This is different than a foxhole or just even open
Never
field.
get involved in a land war in Asia.
Pedro, what else do you think?
I don't know. I mean, so it did look very nice. Sort of. Some of the battle scenes were a little bit weird. The guys, it was fun to see all these youngsters, young versions of themselves, but it was still just odd. It never clicked. And I think the biggest part is just how not well done any of the people parts are. All the scenery, all the what do you say? Just like you guys said, the typical day in Vietnam. Sure, that was perfect. But then, as soon as anyone had to open their mouth or be someone more than just a soldier, it didn't work. I don't know. Not the biggest fan.
No, it's a movie that never really got into the mindset of these flankers well. It's so when they are pushed mentally towards war crimes and horrible actions, you kind of don't get why that happened today, which, I mean, it's still a chaotic world and such, but doesn't fit as a story at all. It doesn't need to be cookie cutter 3-act kind of thing, but it just, I didn't get why things were happening, especially when Charlie Sheen would then go oh man, this is sad. I hate it here. It's hell. Why are you here? Oh, I volunteered.
How often do you have to play that fucking tune during the movie too? It worked in the beginning and maybe at the end, but every time anything got a little bit sad or weird, they would play. I forget what it's called now. That the thing, the famous.
It's so recognizable.
Piece.
Every time it started playing, it pulled me out.
But then, I was just oh, woe is me. Woe is all you guys. Yes, this is awful, but now I'm starting to not care anymore.
I would love to see this movie with all of that music replaced with the sad Charlie Brown music instead.
Yes.
So I was just looking because I was trying to figure out what
Adagio.
Oliver said he was... Yeah, Adagio. What he was responding to. And it's the John Wayne movie, Green Berets.
Okay.
Which is the very, heroic Vietnam movie. I did see, there's also, though, a couple things that are noted in the Wikipedia article that I feel like it's the movie it could have been. There's a lot of The Doors in this, and what Oliver Stone wanted, he sent the script to Jim Morrison, and he wanted Jim Morrison to play the lead. Jim Morrison had the script with him when he died. And,
damn.
So, that's, I just, that's a never made. Denzel Washington wanted to play Elias and backed out at the last moment.
Oh, really?
I'm oh, there are these little, this movie with Jim Morrison, I'm here for that.
That's one of the Oliver Stone movies I haven't seen, is his biopic of The Doors. Starring Val Kilmer. Which I hear is fine.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll one day see it, but probably not, because Oliver Stone makes bad movies. One we also didn't mention on our long list, Natural Born Killers is terrible. I hate that movie. Yeah, that kind of fits in the whole, Fight Club of, oh, you forgot to actually make your point, you just kind of glorified it to the extreme.
Gotcha.
But what are our final thoughts on this glowing review of this Best Picture winner?
What did it beat out for Best Picture? Let me see how annoyed I am. Okay, so I don't find myself too, unhappy about any of the things that it beat, but I haven't seen a bunch of them. It's Hannah and Her Sisters, which we reviewed, Children of a Lesser God.
That's a good movie.
The Mission, and Room with a View.
I've not seen The Mission, but I like the other three more than this.
Yeah, well. And Oliver Stone won Best Director, beating out David Lynch for Blue Velvet, Woody Allen for Hannah and Her Sisters, Roland Yaffe for the Mission, and James Ivory for A Room with a View. That's ridiculous.
I mean, Top Gun. That's the
yes, it's true. It's true.
And Top Gun.
Okay, I think it's time for Hinges. I give this a 2.8.
Oh, I'll give it higher than that. I'll give it a 3.8. If you really like war movies, you'll probably like it.
3.
I'll give it a 3.75. It's okay, but...
You couldn't go up to Sarah's 3.8.
No, not that good.
All right, that is Platoon. I believe it just went off HBO now. Sorry. See it a different way, or not. I don't care. Now it's time for the album.
This week, we listened to Fuzzy by Grant Lee Buffalo. first album. It was released in 1993. Michael Stipe from REM said it was the best album that came out that year. I listened to this album on Thursday numerous times. I couldn't tell you a damn thing about it.
I just listened to it today, and I couldn't tell you a damn thing about it.
It is so unimpressionable.
I kind of liked it.
Okay.
I didn't like every song, but they had a kind of really cool sound. It felt like a rock band with, like, I don't know, more talent instrumental wise. Like, they had a really great, like, epic sound to kind of really quieter songs, I guess, that impressed me, at least made it very listenable, even when sometimes the lyrics were not that great.
I found it boring. Like, I feel like I've heard this album a million times, even though I've heard it, like, 6 times. Because it just sounds like every other male alternative album that came out in the early 90s.
Honestly, it sounds... I like male alternative albums that come out of the early 90s.
Yeah.
This was much more boring than they were.
Yeah. Not it just... Like, I understand why Michael Stipe from REM liked it, because it sounded similar to REM, but not as good.
But, like, not nearly as good. Like,
Yeah.
not
It
even, like, in the same
It was like
universe.
a watered down REM.
Very. It's like if you tried to make if REM is tea, this is what you make when you only actually heat the water for 30 seconds, so it never really steeps right.
Yep.
As if you're saying it's weak tea?
It is as if I'm saying it's weak tea.
I'm going to eventually start REM because I want to listen to the sequel podcast of Are You Talking You Two to Me, which is now Are You Talking REM RE Me.
Yep.
That's a fun title.
It is a fun title.
That's pretty much
I figured I
that.
should listen to the REM albums, even though they probably will go off on long comedic tangents because that's how the last podcast worked. It's good stuff, plugging a very popular podcast that does not need our support.
Yeah.
But, so what else do these guys do?
Well, the Wikipedia page for this album is very, very scant. They were around for a while. They had moderate success. They never really got super popular in the United States. Like, ever. Just one of those... It's one of those albums that I feel like was a filler album, and because the editors of these lists are British, white, and male, they picked what they knew.
Yeah, it's true.
That's my opinion of this album.
Indeed.
All right. Hinges.
3, it's perfectly fine. There's, like, nothing wrong with it. It's just boring.
I think it's worse than boring. I mean, it's like, it was like mind-numbingly boring. I'm gonna give it a 2.3.
3.5.
All right.
I thought the sounded good. Man, I think by episode like 400, I'm really gonna learn how to review an album.
Maybe, yeah.
Probably not though. So what's the food?
Like I said, I went to get Shanxi extra aged vinegar, and I went and I got Shanxi aged vinegar instead, and so I threw it out the window of my car, and now I have to go back and get the real stuff.
Good job littering.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's time for the song segment.
Woo!
Pedro,
Yeah, yes.
what do we listen to?
We listened to 1952 Vincent Black Lightning by Richard Thompson.
Oh, says Red Molly to James, that's a fine motorbike. A girl could feel special on any such like. Says James to Red Molly, my hat's off to you. It's a Vincent Black Lightning 1952. And I've seen you at the corners and cafes, it seems. Red hair and black leather, my favorite color scheme. And he pulled her on behind and down to Box Hill they did ride.
1952, Vincent Black Lightning is a song, came out in 1991. It is, Wikipedia says, folk. Only folk,
Yeah.
nothing else. It's pretty impressive, actually, that there's
Whoa.
another subgenre. Yeah, right?
Wow.
It is about a guy and his love for this redhead lady and a 1952 Vincent Black Lightning motorcycle. The Black Lightning is a modified, faster version of the Black Shadow, which you might recognize from one of the best episodes of Top Gear, a train versus a motorcycle versus a car.
Ooh, that is a good episode.
That Black Shadow was the motorcycle. This is a faster version of that.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. It is just Richard Thompson singing away while he picks at his guitar, and it's nice for the guitar. I don't really care much about any of the lyrical bit or the story, like, at all.
Well,
It's kind of boring.
It's a song that's clearly more in love with the motorcycle, right?
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm pretty sure it is. Like, it seems like the only thing that she's important for is her red hair to match the black leather, which are his favorite colors. Or his favorite color scheme, is what he says in the song.
I really like this kind of music. Like, I'm here for a singer-songwriter, like, longer song with guitar. And I liked this fine. His accent makes it, like, this is silly, but, like, I mostly listen to American folk singers, and I was like, oh, it's like that, but with an accent.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
I think I'm probably gonna go listen to more of this guy's stuff, because even though this wasn't, like, the best, like, this isn't a song that I care to listen to again, it strikes me as he probably has a bunch that I would like. Let me put it that way.
No, people love this song, apparently, though. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's good.
I really liked this style. Like I'm a big sucker for folk music, so I really enjoyed it. I wasn't a big fan of his vocals. Like, it wasn't something that was appealing to me.
it's nothing very special.
Yeah, it's nothing spectacular, and it's nothing unique enough for me to actually want to pay attention to his vocals more. So, but it was fine. Again, perfectly fine.
Weirdly, I liked the title. Like, that's silly,
This
but,
is
like,
no, I love it.
like, it's just, like, it's, like, the best. It's, like, a great folk song title.
Yeah, it's like
you're
a
wait,
Sufjan
what?
Stevens
And then
title.
you're like, I'm into it.
Yeah.
I mean, like most folk songs, I think it's like 2 minutes too long.
Yeah, it
I'll
is.
give you
It
that.
is quite long.
But I listened to it on YouTube. I just enjoyed looking at all the comments of clearly older men crying about their own lost motorcycles. It's very emotional.
Yeah.
The guy in this song is 21. He's a thief.
Oh, they meant the guy
okay.
singing. There's no way in hell he's 21 performing this song.
Mm-hmm. And what's interesting is when he plays live, sometimes he'll switch out the Black Lightning with different brands of motorcycle.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, apparently he does. Like his own song. Although most people, when they cover his song, they just use the original lyrics, because
Well,
why not?
That's like Prince, instead of singing Little Red Corvette, it's like Little Red Camaro. Little Red Convertible T-top. Like,
Sure.
like,
Little Red Miata.
yeah.
Did he actually do that?
No!
No!
Because it's stupid!
It is a bit weird, especially since the Black Lightning, at least according to this, is really, really rare. So just kind of changing it out with any other thing.
It's also a new CW superhero show,
Yeah. Also,
Oh.
which I have not seen because I am exhausted by the CW superhero shows.
I've heard it's really good, though. I haven't watched it either, because I just don't care.
I just assumed it'll go down the same path as Arrow, Flash, Supergirl. That tomorrow was like, this has promise. They've ran out of ideas. It's season 2 now.
Shall we end? I've got nothing. I mean, the guitar's great. Listen to it just
The
for the
guitar's
guitar
very
if you
good.
want.
Mm-hmm. He's very talented.
Yes.
All right, what do you give it, Pedro?
I'll give it a 3.8.
All right, I'll give it a 3.
Yeah, before.
3.25.
Nice.
You're all over the place.
I'm slowly like coming down in the ranks now.
Ah,
This
you're
is what,
getting,
the 5th review in a row that I haven't given the best score.
Look at you.
It's weird.
You're just growing more and more cynical, Pedro.
I think I am.
Someone has to fill Adam's void.
That's true.
True. That
I
sounds
miss
dirty.
Adam.
Somewhere out there in space, Adam saying, that song sucked. Godspeed, Adam.
Mm.
And now it's time for the TV show segment, which is Time Trumpet.
This week, Time Trumpet looks back at 2007, the year Charlotte Church vomited herself inside out.
You can imagine, can't you?
It's cold out. And when there was an outcry at the BBC's new weather graphics that used actual human blood.
And it stays that way into the early part of next week as well. Mind you, some brightness as you go.
And we look back at this madman and how he ended up 20 years later dementedly wandering round the bins of downtown Baghdad.
Further down the bin, bus. Have your money ready, please.
Time Trumpet is the very strange 6-episode British show that was a mockery of, like, I Love the 90s kind of shows, where the show took place far, far in the future, and I was looking back at the year 2008, which is when the show actually aired. So it has a number of comedians you'd recognize playing characters or playing themselves, remembering about the times of 2008, including Richard Ayoade. Is that how you say his name?
Richard Ayoade.
Ayoade, who's always brilliant. And the show was created and written and directed by Armando Iannucci, who you know as the creator of The Thick of It, In the Loop, Veep, and my favorite film of the year, The Death of Stalin.
And you can tell. I only saw one episode of this, but it's very him.
Yes, it is very political. He has lots of thoughts on David Cameron. Most of the show is thoughts on David Cameron. Do you want to actually watch this?
No.
I only watched one episode.
No way.
It is mostly really funny. What doesn't totally work is that a lot of the political jokes, it's just hard to remember those specific things from 2008. It's not just because I wasn't really following a lot of British politics at the time. Even if I watched 2008 clips from The Daily Show, I don't think I would be able to remember exactly what was going on with each person then. But all of the really absurd, weird stuff works really well. Just the strangest things, like a man who was really annoyed that people kept dying, and he wanted to just have a pop concert to really defeat death.
Sure.
You have age senile Tom Cruise, who like keeps believing that time continues because he keeps winding his clock every day. Or just like quick sight gags, like, oh yeah, all the weathermen at that time were using boards that were just filled with blood. So you see a clip of a weatherman, he would, like, you know, point to the wind and just blood keeps streaking down the screen. It is just so bizarre, and everyone is so dryly committed to this that it really kind of is a great mockery of nostalgia and these kind of shows, especially when they're trying to be like very serious and astute. Like, oh, what was like one of the most popular songs this time? Oh, it's the intro to Top of the Pops. And people's like just obsessed with like, oh yeah, then it was blue swish to the right, and then oh my god, yellow swish up, and then it was orange swish from left corner to right corner. Just very silly. Did not describe that one as well. It feels the others. And yeah, it is a strange delight. I don't think I needed to see a second season. They never actually made one. But in terms of just like a sketch show of Armando Iannucci doing weird stuff, I rather liked the show. And I liked that it was a short show. I didn't have to watch 10,000 episodes. It was 3 hours long total. Which is, you know, an hour longer than Platoon. Yeah. Which means I also don't have much more to say. This is a shorter episode.
It is.
A very short episode.
I'm okay with
There was
that.
a bunch of stuff we didn't like that much.
And like, it's not that we didn't like it, it's just that we didn't hate it.
Yeah.
So we don't have a whole lot to say about why we didn't like it. Just didn't like it.
Yeah.
Very meh
Yeah.
all around.
But I do give Time Trumpet a 4. It's the best thing I saw this episode.
Good.
Wonderful.
And wow, that was a really short episode. I feel silly, like, oh wow, we get to see Lee in person. This took like 20 minutes of your time.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I think it took me longer to drive here.
Yeah. Me too, but it was like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Man.
Cool.
Yeah.
Fucking nailed this episode.
We did good.
All right. Pedro, do you have the complex formula to determine next week's number?
It's never a formula. I just kind of do things to it.
That's okay. Is that how math works, though? Like, there's one
Sometimes,
number, you do things
usually.
to it, and now it's a new number?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
See what this is coming out 12th?
April 12th, yeah.
Okay. Well, 2 12s is 24.
It's true.
2 24s is 48.
True.
No, that's too small. I don't want to do something old. Let's add a 0, make it 480, right in the middle.
Okay.
We're doing something in the middle, guys. Did this on purpose.
Nailed it. Okay, what are the 480th entries of everything? Oh boy, the movie is a doozy. It's a big one. It's 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Oh, jeez.
Ooh.
It's a big one. Ooh, the food is bay scallops. Tasty, tasty.
The song is Milk and Alcohol by Dr. Feelgood. Not sure. Okay.
The album is Penthouse and Pavement by Heaven 17.
And because I just cursed myself with praising a 6-episode TV show, next one is the, I believe, 11th season NYPD Blue.
Wow.
Don't worry, it's only over 200 episodes of this show.
It'll be fine.
It's fine. I'm sure I'll finish the whole series by next week.
Probably.
Yes.
Yeah. Definitely.
Maybe. But until then, there's other stuff you can do besides watch endless episodes of NYPD Blue on Hulu. You can go to the website. Let us know what you think of this episode and all the things that we reviewed. Let us know if you like Platoon more than us. If you have great, deep thoughts on the philosophy of Grant Lee Buffalo.
Yeah.
That's the place to do it, in that comment section. Also, while you're there, you can check out some other spiffy podcasts, including Let's Take 5, which is in the middle of its Terrence Malick 5. We are doing a different war film tomorrow, The Thin Red Line. Ad Absurdum is back with a really spiffy episode about Escape from New York.
Hell yeah.
You want to tease that at all? What's the legal thing you discuss in that?
Oh, God. I mean, a lot of things, but one of them is whether or not you can commit suicide instead of facing the penalty of, having to live and escape from New York. New York.
Hell of a pitch to listen to that episode.
I mean, I know it's super depressing, but, what are you going to do? I think it's interesting.
It is a fun podcast.
Oh,
to
yeah, it's
listen
super
to.
fun. It's super fun. Escape from New York is crazy. It's a crazy movie with crazy people in it.
It is. Very amusing. Also, you could follow us on Twitter. Lee runs the account very well at The Immortals Pod. The episodes pop up on YouTube. Leave us a review on iTunes. That's a good thing people can do.
It is.
Special thanks to Adam Lord for the music and Sarah Rust for editing this episode. And also thank you all, listeners at home, for listening to the show and validating the weird thing we're doing.
Yay!
Your downloads compel us to do 900 more episodes.
Yay!
Yay!
Yay! Yeah. Any final thoughts across the board?
Mm.
No, not really. I'm good.
Fuck, we're so good at podcasting.
We're so good at podcasting.
We're so good at
guys.
podcasting.
Oh.
All right, until next time, I'm Austin.
I'm Sarah.
I'm Lee.
I'm Pedro.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
How did you sell politics to the public? And the answer was to have a puppet of a donkey asking the person the questions in the company of puppets of animals or objects.
So, first question from Monkey is, what do we call you? Is it Dave? David? Crazy Davy?
Cameron was the first politician quite happy to go on this new show.
People call me David. I don't really mind, and I sometimes often don't notice, so...
Right. Crazy Davy Cameron's in the hut.
Whatever you like.
We used to go on holiday in Spain every year, and you'd see the donkey on the beach, and you'd see the newsstand next to the donkey, and all the kids were looking at the donkey. There were no kids looking at the newsstand. So when the BBC came to me and said, how about doing question time, I thought, yeah, Let's have the donkey.
So, Davy, can you tell us everything about politics in 10 seconds?
There are those who come into politics to tell people what to do. That's Tony Blair. And there are those who come into politics to set people free. That is David...
The word for it was edutainment. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Yes.
It both educates and it entertains, and that word's a compound word of those two things. And people say to me, oh, you're always talking about edutainment. What do you mean? What I mean is...
Infiltration.
Or infiltration is another way of saying edutainment.
Let's face it, this is exactly the right time to roll one up, isn't it?
Look, I did lots of things before I came into politics that I shouldn't have done.
Yeah, right.
David Dimbledonkey trivialised politics. Well, they said the same thing about politics. Oh, you know, Scheitgeist on Channel 4.
But let me just take on the other 2 points.
No, Monkey's tired.
He is only 3 foot tall, but packed into that is a lot of nous.
Oh, Monkey wants to know which is your favourite spin-off band from Busted. Is it Fight Star or Son of Dork?
Well,
quick as you like.
It's hard to remember that there was a time when politicians were not interviewed by anthropomorphic puppets, and there was a time when a politician could expect to be asked difficult questions by a human, not by some kind of sop.
Oh, thanks for coming in. Grab yourself a coconut on the way out. Bye, Davy.